How's it going, guys? It's Cam here. I know it's been a little while since I've made a video after I just got my new car, my C6 Corvette Grandsport. I wanted to explain a little bit more why I bought a Grandsport over, say, a Z06 or a base model, or maybe even a C5. Ignore that one, it's my dad's car. But first, before I go ahead and talk about all of that, you know, what you get with the Grandsport, because there is a lot you get with the Grandsport, what the differences between the Grandsport and the Z06 are, I thought I might just take you guys for a quick drive, a first impressions drive of the car. And it should also serve as a good baseline for what we're starting at with the Grandsport and how much of a ceiling this car actually has. Ironically, since it's raining, you guys are gonna see the biggest problem I've run into so far with this car, and that is wet shoes and all aluminum pedals. It's kind of sketchy to drive the car, actually. Let's get started. Let's get on that drive. All right, so if you guys know your C6 generation of Corvettes, you know right away this interior is nothing special. It's definitely not up to the same standards that you see with the C7. Maybe it's not that bad with these shoes, actually. I might have worn the right shoes this time. I've been told that New Balances are really good for this car in rain. See what I did there? All right, so obviously the roads right now are very wet out. This car does have some really aggressive track tires on it, and I'm not 100% used to the car yet, so we're gonna take it a little easy and not be that guy crashing his Corvette. First initial impressions about this transmission, if you didn't know, this car has a TR6060 trans in it. It's a 6-speed transmission. Now the Grandsport does get a slightly different gear ratio than the base and the Z06. I can't remember if it's a ZR1 trans or if the ZR1 trans is even different from the base and the Z06. Either way, this is a more track-focused car, the Grandsport. So you get a more aggressive first, second, and third gear. So there's shorter gear ratios than you would get on the base model and the Z06. I believe in the base and the Z06 you can hit 60 in first gear. Actually, this will do about 45 miles an hour in first gear. I have driven this car in the rain before previously, and it does hydroplane very easy with these tires because, like I did state before, it is a very aggressive tire on it. They're the Bridgestone Potenzas. It's like a 180 tread wear rating, so we're definitely going to be careful. The car from the cabin, I don't know if you can hear the exhaust right now, but it does actually sound pretty darn nice. It's definitely not loud. It's really quiet actually compared to my Mustang. And it's a little embarrassing driving such a quiet car, so we will get the exhaust corrected here real soon. I can promise you guys that. I do have an install for the first part of this car coming up very soon as well. We're gonna see if we can find some drier roads out here. I can show you a little bit of where we're starting with the baseline for this car. One thing you'll notice with this car, especially me coming from a 3-valve Mustang, is the torque that this thing generates. We're not really, well, I mean, third gear from a 60 roll, that's probably ideal for what you want to be at. I'll go ahead and get on it a little bit here. We'll show you how torquey some of these push rod LS motors are. So this is from a 60 roll, we'll just kind of half throttle it here. Yeah, and the brakes are very good. We got 6 pistons up front, 4 in the rear, so we really don't have any problems stopping. That's a pretty good example of how torquey this car gets, and it really starts pulling in the top end. This thing is gonna be a monster once we start getting some bolt-ons and stuff on the car. I don't think I got it on camera, but we definitely slipped the tires going into 4th gear back there with that little pull, so definitely not ideal traction conditions once again. And this shifter is one of the better shifters you can actually get from factory here on really any factory car. It does come with a factory short shifter. If you watch, the travel's really not too far on it, so it doesn't make banging gears very hard in this car. She really loves fourth gear. Once we get a little bit more road, I can show you here. Here's fourth gear from 45. We're just under 2,000 RPMs, just a little half throttle. See, she picks up real nice there. It's just all the torque in the world. It feels so good, and really it feels so different from coming from a mod motor, you know, the Mustang motors, where they really make all their power up top and when you rev them out and stuff like this. Which is not to say this car doesn't make power up top. It's just got gobs of torque, you know, at the bottom rev range here, and it still pulls pretty strong for the up top. Now, the weak part about these cars stock is the factory cam. Once you do cam these cars, you know, your 3,500 to 65 plus 100 RPMs, that's when it will really wake up the car. Because the factory cam on these cars, it's small, it's conservative, makes it easy to drive. So throwing a big cam on this car will really, really, really wake up the top end on these cars. It's already a very light car. I think it weighs around 3,300 pounds. It really starts pulling when it gets going, and you can just tell. You can feel almost the aerodynamic smoothness of it too. I don't know how to explain it. You just have to trust me, or you have to drive one of these things. I do want to briefly touch on the shoe situation again, you know, with the wet shoes and the aluminum pedals. I'm not having any issues this time. These are different shoes than I was wearing last time when I was having issues with slipping off the pedals, but as of right now, I'm having absolutely zero issues. So good on you, Adidas, for making some solid rubber soles there. One thing you'll figure out really fast when you're driving a Corvette is just how great of a cruising car this thing is. It's nice, it's smooth, it's just got the long body that you can feel. You don't feel anything really in the road with the factory suspension. I mean, this is a Grandsport, so it does have the same shocks, struts, same lowering bolts as the Z06. So it's got the whole you know, track setup that the Z06 has as well. But it's just a fantastic car just to drive, just to cruise in. Absolutely no complaints here from me. I get relatively good gas mileage. Now this is all around town. This is getting on it every once in a while. We're getting nearly 20 miles a gallon on this thing. So good on you for a 6.2 liter V8, you know? Oh, we just hydroplaned a little bit there. That was a tad bit scary. I bought it to drive. It's a driver's car, and that's just ultimately what makes it so much fun for me. It's just night and day better to drive than a Mustang, which, you know, it makes sense. It's a two-seater sports car. It's light. It's got a 50-50 weight balance, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it makes sense where I'm coming from with that, I think. It's not to discredit Mustangs, you know, they definitely have their place in the community, and you know what you're looking for, especially if you're looking for 4 seats or straight line performance, you know. The newer Mustangs, the 810 Mustangs with the 5.0s, they're fantastic cars. They're very, very fast from the factory, especially when you mod them. You know, not to discredit them anyway, but it's just the way this thing feels when you're driving it. Just it's unexplainable. You just gotta drive it. Hey, C8, reminding me that I'm still broke. Thanks, dude. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed me sharing my first impressions the C6 Grandsport Corvette. I also hope you guys like seeing me in a 6-speed manual car. I know there's a bunch of my comments from the previous videos and stuff. My Mustang, this car is not going to stay stock for long. You guys know I like to build my cars, so very, very soon we're going to start building this thing. It definitely needs more loud. It is way too quiet. So that bit will change soon. I can promise you guys that. We do already still have the first mod for the car that will be going on soon. I hope you guys enjoyed some of the POV driving. I know you guys like to see that. I'll go ahead and make sure I show more of that. We'll also get some baseline runs for this car lined up here real soon. I can say that I did run a 13-14-50 Mustang. I have absolutely no idea what was done to that Mustang. Got him by multiple cars. It was a random car on the highway. I have no idea what was done to it. You know, we just went up to the speed limit. Be on the lookout for new videos soon here. I did share slightly on my story why it was taking so long for this upload to come out. That was because I lost my GoPro. I have no idea what happened to my GoPro. I was in a transition between a new camera setup and everything like that. And I just got real busy with work, so I should have a lot more free time coming up here to go ahead and put out fresh new content for you guys. Really start building this car, start this build series. With all that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.